First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for kicking my son and his wife out after they took my daughter's room? I'm a single mom of two, Dale 22 and Kim 15. My late husband passed away when Kim was 10. It was too much because it's hard being a single mom. Everyone in my life has never stood by me, and where I'm from, society tends to be harsh on single moms. I always felt much stress with all the responsibilities, and everyone expecting me to give up. There were many times when I felt like a failure, and I never want to be seen as a failure in my children's eyes. I want them to look up to me, learn from my experiences, and learn to stand by themselves and be strong. Kim is the apple of my eye. She went through so much, and I tend to be overprotective of her, as they say. I was with someone, a police officer, who was nice to me, but once I noticed how poorly he treated Kim, I told him to leave immediately. I decided to focus on Kim. Dale and his wife are expecting. He's been unemployed for months, and they left their rental apartment and moved in with us temporarily. However, his wife started disrespecting Kim's privacy, walking into her room, constantly taking her things and ruining them. They brought boxes of baby stuff and stored them in Kim's room. I told her to move the boxes to the storage room, but Dale made excuses that the stuff might get damaged. Dale and his wife talked about staying for a few more months. She's 8 months pregnant, till after the baby is a few months old. His wife suggested that my daughter move into my room and they take her room and turn it into a nursery. I said no, and it's not up for discussion. Dale understood, but his wife didn't like it. Kim came to me saying Dale's wife is trying to convince her to give her room to her nephew. So I told Dale's wife firmly to stop annoying Kim. Yesterday, I came home and found Dale moving Kim's stuff out of her room, replacing it with her baby stuff. Kim was in the living room waiting for me, and she was crying. I was livid. Dale's wife made her a sandwich to calm her down. I saw Kim's room. Her bed was moved. Her favorite posters, her closet and graphic art, some were put there by her dad, and I confronted them. Dale said it was his wife's idea, and told him she'll work it out with me later. I got into an argument with her. I lashed out at her after she said Kim can take the storage room. I told them to leave immediately. They argued for an hour, then left. Then, my mom and sister called me in the evening, asking how I could kick my own son out, and told me to let them move back in. I refused, and now they're calling me bad mom, saying I'm playing favorites. Dale's wife talked about putting the nursery together and taking pictures of it to share on a Facebook page for everyone to see. That's what Dale told me, which made me feel upset, to be honest. Now for the top comments. Dale and his wife could easily have shared their room with a baby for a few months. You and your daughter were already making a great sacrifice sharing a home with a newborn. That wasn't good enough. They think that everybody should have to sacrifice for their child, but that is not how the world works. You have a responsibility to protect your daughter and make decisions in her best interest. That is what you did here. You are not an a-hole. You are a wonderful mother who was forced to make a painful decision to protect her child. Well done. I suggested that, but Dale's wife didn't like it. I understand that they're struggling, but this has been Kim's room since she was little. It's her safe place. She has a lot of memories with her dad in it. The posters they removed were put there by her and her dad. So these are her childhood memories they ruined. It's not okay to do that. Not an a-hole. If your mom and your sister feel you were wrong, then maybe they can open up their home to Dale and his wife? What about the wife's family? Maybe they can open their home up to them? You were and are protecting your child, Kim. This isn't the first time they call me a bad mom. Soon as my late husband passed away, my own family criticized me and put a lot of pressure on me. My daughter is my priority. It's my duty as her only parent to protect her. Not an a-hole. Full stop, no question. Your adult son and his wife bullied a teenage girl and completely disregarded your authority. You had far more patience with either of them than I likely would have had after the wife began intruding on Kim's privacy and trying to push her out of her room. Your son is an adult, and so is his wife. They've had months to comfortably try to look for a new home and, for Dale, new work. Instead, they've been trying to take over and shirk their responsibilities as adults and soon-to-be parents. You cannot take them back in. That will never work out, and will send the message to your daughter that you don't care about what they've been doing to her. As for your other family trying to berate you for this decision, tell them if they are so concerned about your son and his wife, they can take the two in and care for them, plus the baby. Otherwise, ignore them and focus on raising your daughter. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my sister see her kids? I have a full custody of my nephew, 10, and niece, 9. I have recently decided it would be best for her children not to see her, due to the last visit they had together where she came to visit her children, hi, and her children could barely recognize her. They didn't even want to give her a hug, and when I was driving them home, my nephew said, "That wasn't my mom. She kinda looks like her, but she acts, looks, and smells different." I asked them if they'd want to see her again, and both of them said maybe when she gets better. Now, I'm young in my early 20s with no children of my own, and I honestly worked my butt off to get custody of their children, which was harder because everyone thought I was too young. I made it my goal to protect them and put them before my husband, myself, and everything else. As much as it hurts me to send my sister a message saying she's no longer allowed around her children until she's off substances, I felt like I had to do it for my niece and nephew. She sent me a message saying I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still young and I'm trying to steal her children from her, that I'm jealous of her and all types of stuff like that. My mom thinks that I'm not doing the right thing, that the children deserve a connection with their mom, and that seeing the children will help my sister as well, and that my sister is trying her best, that I made things worse for her. I'm honestly not sure if I made a mistake. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my sister to see her children? Now for the top judgment. Not an a-hole. Those kids are not your sister's support animals. She can see them when she's in a condition the kids will not be frightened or put off by. OMG, I love this. If she's changed so much that her own kids barely recognize her and don't want to hug her, after not seeing her for however long, that speaks for itself. They don't owe her anything for being brought into the world. Your mom can kick rocks too. That's a crazy way of thinking. Your sister couldn't care less about her kids, or she wouldn't be getting worse. She'd be moving mountains to get clean and get them back. I'd be going low contact with mom and setting boundaries with your sister. You're not an a-hole. You're the best thing that could have happened to them. Your mom would be putting those poor kids through hell helping your sister. Not an a-hole. Generally, when an addict tells you you're an a-hole for not giving them what they want, the addict is spouting nonsense. She's had her children removed by CPS, and is now telling you that you're jealous and don't know what you're doing? My mom thinks that I'm not doing the right thing, that the children deserve a connection with their mom, and that seeing the children will help my sister as well, and that my sister is trying her best, that I made things worse for her. The children deserve a connection with a healthy, stable mother. They do not deserve to be exposed to a mother who is constantly high, and they do not deserve to be used as tools to help an adult woman recover. Not to mention, the children have already voiced their opinion. That doesn't get bulldozed so that they can be used as pawns to help your sister. Your mom is very much wrong. Seeing their mom on substances will only harm the kids that you fought so hard to get custody of to protect. You're not the a-hole. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my coworker my partner is not her child's father? I'm 29 male, my partner is 25 male, and my coworker is about 22 female. My coworker, who I'll call Tiffany, is one of those likable but flaky people. She's nice, but she's a bit of an airhead. Tiffany got unexpectedly pregnant a year before we started working together, and the father is not involved. I know this because she tends to make vent posts on social media that are open to anyone who's following her. She posts a lot about issues with her kid because her kid has a disability. My partner loves kids. He's a social worker, and he raised his siblings growing up. I think his ideal family would be the Brady Bunch. I don't want kids, so we compromised by getting a dog. He saw one of her posts about 3 years ago and DM'd her telling her that he's helped kids with her kid's disability, and he'd be happy to give her some advice. Since then, he's been very involved with her and her kid's life. Pre-quarantine, he would go over all the time and help out, and stay on the phone with her when she was having a crisis. I never had any problem with it because her kid has a lot of issues, and I know Tiffany was drowning in it. I also want to say I've never been jealous at all because although my partner also likes women, he's bisexual, he's just like this. Anyway, during quarantine, the relationship has started to annoy me more. Tiffany and her kid will FaceTime my partner while we're watching a movie, so he can tell the kid a bedtime story. He'll tell me that he misses seeing Tiffany and the kid because they're like family to him. When we finally went back to work yesterday, Tiffany told me how much her child misses my partner and how all the things he's been doing for them have been really getting them through the hard times. I agreed that what my partner was doing was nice, but then I told her that if her kid is missing him, their relationship is starting to get unhealthy. My partner is not your child's father, and he shouldn't be taking that place in their life. I told my partner, and he said I was being a jerk. He said that the kid could only benefit from having a good male role model, and if the kid sees him as a father figure, there's nothing wrong with that. He also apologized to Tiffany. I don't really see where what I did was wrong, as creating boundaries is important. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Yikes. This seems to be about way more than just Tiffany and her kid. Your husband wants kids and you don't, so you compromised by getting a dog? If your husband wants kids, he's never going to stop wanting them, and it will probably lead to him resenting you. You guys aren't on the same page at all. Edit. Forgot to add a judgment. At this point, I'd say you're the a-hole. Yeah, this is what I was thinking the entire time reading. Soon as I saw, so he compromised by getting a dog. Lol, not how that works. Here's the thing. A compromise for someone who wants a lot of children is not dogs. Lol. He wants children. You don't. He's getting fulfilled from Tiffany and her kid. Not with you and your dog. I don't see your relationship lasting. Look long and deep at this. You're the a-hole. Yeah, I predict that Opie's partner will end up as Tiffany's husband. Not the a-hole for wanting boundaries, but I have a feeling your relationship is going to fail. Your partner wants kids, and having a dog is not going to fix that. The fact that he is so easily getting attached to someone else's kid is a sign that he's not going to be happy with a childless relationship for the rest of his life. It baffles me how couples can disagree on something as huge as having children and still think their relationship will work. If you want a stable relationship, you need to agree on 3 things: money, intimacy, and kids. You two need to sit down and have a long talk. Just jumping in to say, I don't think that's necessarily true. A lot of child-free people form affectionate bonds with other people's children, either relatives, friends, or, as in this case, kids in need of care that they're in a position to provide. It doesn't necessarily indicate dissatisfaction with their childlessness. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to accommodate my niece's vegan diet? My sister and her husband both lost their jobs, and as we had the space, we allowed them to move in with us. We have 2 daughters who are both vegan. Now, my wife and I have 4 children. Our 2 older girls are very sweet, and our boys both have autism. We essentially work our daily lives around them to make them more comfortable. As such, our meal plans are relatively simple. Some of the only foods they will both eat is chicken and cheese, so every meal we eat has at least one of those components. Of course, neither of these items are vegan. Our nieces both complain, and as we need meal time to be relatively stress-free for the boys, it's caused some problems. On top of this, we also have 4 dogs, 1 family dog, 1 dog who is a trained autism service dog, and our oldest daughter adopted 2 dogs at the beginning of April last year. Our oldest is doing an animal welfare course at college and plans on becoming a vet/dietitian. She explained the benefits of raw food, and as such, she prepares all 4 dog meals in the morning and refrigerates their evening meals. We don't force her. She chooses to do the other 2 dogs because she wants to get it perfect for them. Anyway, our 2 nieces are complaining about never being able to eat because there's always meat around. They refuse to eat at mealtimes because we serve meat and dairy. I explained that we aren't going to upturn meal plans we've had in place for years just for them. They could either deal with it or make their own food. They're both on hunger strikes, but I don't think I'm in the wrong. I offered to serve the sides, which are generally vegan, in larger portions for them, but cooking several different meals is not something I want to go back to. My sister is staying out of it, and her husband is just happy he's finally getting to eat meat again. My wife thinks I'm being harsh, but when I suggested she take over cooking, she suddenly agreed with me. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. There are lots of options open to them. They can cook. Their parents can cook. They can eat packet food that doesn't require cooking. It's not on you to do all that work for them. I also appreciate that when you've got kids with very specific food needs, it's way too much to try and vary that to add in another diet. It's on your sister and her husband to find a solution that works for their daughters, but also for you. It's on your sister and her husband to find a solution that works for their daughters, but also for you. Yes, the bit about the sister staying out of it is ridiculous. Rope her into it. Info. Wait, your sister and her husband are both unemployed. Why are they not making vegan meals for their own daughters? Why does living with you have to mean that you also cook for them? And how old are the daughters anyway? I'm not sure. It's just sort of the way things panned out. And they're 17 and 15. Not a-hole. My sister is staying out of it, aka my sister is refusing to cook the food I buy for her kids who have dietary preferences, or is refusing to tell her kids to make their own dinners. Are you kidding me with this? Jesus! My kids have been making their own meals since 6. Lol. If they don't like what I made for family dinner, they're more than welcome to make whatever they want with the items I have in the house. Your sister and her family are seriously ungrateful. Right? I was a picky eater, and if I didn't like dinner, I could just make peanut butter and jelly sandwich or whatever else. I was doing that in the 1st grade. The teenagers can make their own meals, not the a-hole. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe. Update. Am I the a-hole for insisting on a paternity test before accepting my ex-wife's son as my own? Original post. I, 32 male, was married to my ex-wife, 30 female, for 5 years. Our marriage ended after I discovered she had been cheating on me for about a year with multiple men. She got pregnant and confessed that she doesn't know if the baby was mine or our affair partners. A couple of months after the divorce, I tried to reach out to her to see if the baby was mine but couldn't, and I learned through a friend she and her new partner had left the country. That was 2 years ago, and I thought that was that. Recently, Jane reached out to my mother claiming that her kid is mine and in need of financial help. Jane told my mother that her partner left her when he found out the kid is not his. Now, for context, my mother has been desperate for grandkids, especially since my older brother is gay and child-free, and I've been single since the divorce. She's been relentless in pressuring me to help out Jane. However, I have my doubts given her infidelity. I find it hard to trust her claims without concrete evidence. So, I've insisted on a paternity test before committing to any financial or emotional support. If the child is indeed mine, I'd gladly step up and fulfill my responsibilities as a father. But I refuse to do so without proper legal documentation. My mother and Jane are both vehemently against the idea of involving lawyers or going through the legal process. They insist that the child is mine based on similar resemblances, like having blue eyes, which I have, but Jane has blue eyes as well. This issue came to a head when my mother posted a picture on Facebook of her and a kid titled "My Grandson." Now, family members and some friends know about this issue and are contacting me. When I tell them I don't know if the kid is mine and want to do a paternity test, they're calling me selfish and irresponsible. My family members are saying my mother will only say that because she is sure that the kid is mine. My friends says I'm an a-hole for punishing the kid for what my ex-wife did. There is a chance the kid is mine, but I can't shake off my doubts, and I refuse to be manipulated into a situation where I might end up responsible for a child who may not be mine. I'm willing to do what's right, but I need certainty first. But it's driving me crazy, with so many people close to me saying I should just take responsibility. My older brother is the only one who is on my side, and he thinks it's because my mother has accepted a kid that others are willing to accept it too, and because of family bonds, which are a major thing here. But I'm standing firm in my decision to do a paternity test. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. DNA test or nothing. It's crazy to think you just step in and take over a parental role based on your lying ex's claim. Especially the fact that OP's ex-wife is only reaching out because she needed financial support. Definitely not the a-hole. Continue to stand firm with your decision, OP. Don't be played for a fool. Yep, you'd be an idiot not to test the DNA of your cheating ex's kid that she suddenly says is yours 2 years later when having money trouble. Don't believe a word she says until it's proven. Also, your mother is the a-hole here for posting that before you have proof and are ready. Even if the kid is yours, that is not right for her to do, and you need to find a way to make that clear to her. That is not her place at all. She likely already did a paternity test once, which is how the affair partner found out the kid isn't his. She can do another one. It's also very possible the kid is the affair partners and they just broke up because she cheated on him too. Or whatever the reason. Maybe he's paying child support already. Or maybe it's not affair partners, but she was also sleeping with 5 other guys at the time of conception. This whole story is just from what a cheater told him. Maybe she saw that your mother was going to push you and figured she'd have an easy shot at doubling down in child support, as long as no lawyers or paternity tests are involved. OP definitely needs lawyer to work out paternity, work out a child support agreement, and work out custody and visitation rights. If OP just blindly starts sending money for a kid he's not legally the father of, he has no rights to visitation or how the child is raised. Maybe it is OP since she wants the money with none of the rights that come with being a father. There's a million reasons why she may not want lawyers involved, and absolutely no reason why OP should be lawyered up already. If OP is willing to pay the cost of the paternity test himself, why would she have a problem with that if he's really the father? Not the a-hole. This is obvious. You should also reply in your mother's Facebook post stating that your ex-wife had a baby after adultery and after leaving you, and that until such a time as a paternity test is agreed to, the child is not known to be your son or your mother's grandson, and that you have reasons to doubt that you could be the father due to timing and a refusal to confirm it by testing. This is the way. If your mother wants to feed her delusions publicly and there is fallout, then present the brutal facts. Maybe, Mom, as you know, X was cheating on me with multiple people at the time of conception. You are also aware she left the country with the alleged father. She has returned making this claim after he has left her. Until there is a paternity test definitely proving the child is mine and not one of her affair partners, you still remain grandchildless. Not the a-hole. Your mother is blinded by her obsession to have grandkids. You are not being selfish. You are being responsible. Protect yourself and get the test done. Sad so many older women become so terrible in the quest for grandkids. It's really pathetic and tells me they never try to work on themselves, but only see themselves as caretakers. And then I keep hearing stories about how once the grandkids arrive, they just want to take a couple pictures with them and otherwise ignore them and not help. Now for the update. So a lot of stuff has happened and I'm exhausted with dealing with this issue. Despite trying to talk reason to my mother, I got nowhere. My brother and I managed to talk to our aunt, who is on my side after she learned what has happened. She was able to convince mother to talk to me and we agreed to meet at her house. However, it quickly devolved into arguing, with my mother still insisting the baby is mine, and accusing both me and my brother of betraying her for not giving her grandkids. My brother finally snapped and asked her if she was willing to lose 2 sons over this. That made her go quiet. With my aunt's help, we convinced her to talk to Jane for the paternity test. A couple hours after I left, Aunt called me and asked me to arrange the test. According to my aunt, it took some arguing between Mom and Jane to get her to agree to the test, but Jane eventually agreed. So I scheduled the test at a clinic, and the earliest appointment I could get was 3 days from that day. I relayed all of this to my mother and aunt and got the okay from them. The day before the test, my brother and I got a call from our aunt and she asked us to come to our mother's house ASAP. When we got there, we saw our mother sitting on a sofa crying. I asked what happened and she said Jane is gone. Now, I knew Jane was back in the country and was visiting my mother every day, but I did not know it was my mother who facilitated everything. My mother revealed that after Jane contacted her, she flew Jane and the baby out and put her in an apartment near her house and had been paying rent for her, buying her and the baby things for a month and a half before they told me. I lived just an hour from my mother, and I talked to her on the phone 4 or 5 times a week, and she never told me. After Jane agreed to the test, she asked for money, and she told my mother that after the test confirms that I'm the father, she needs to buy some essential home stuff as she intends to stay near here. My mother gave her an amount close to $8,000 US. After she got the money, she did not come and see my mother, so my mother went to the apartment and saw that it was empty. I asked why did she ever trust someone who has lied so much before, and she said all her friends are grandmothers, and they are always with her grandkids, and she feels left out when she is with them. Then she gets up and says all of this is my fault. She comes up to me and slapped me, and just went crazy yelling and crying and kept hitting me. My aunt and brother managed to get her off me. She kept saying I was a horrible son. I should have just accepted the baby. She then turned to my brother and started yelling at him too, accusing him for instilling his child-free life on me, and told him that he was an embarrassment to her. Then she started off ranting saying Jane was right to cheat on me, that if I had agreed to start a family with Jane back then, this would not have happened. For context, Jane wanted to try for a baby the 2nd year into our marriage, but I had to keep that on hold as I made a major career change, and Jane and I both agreed to wait until I was financially secure. I also want to point out this was not the reason she gave me for infidelity. My aunt managed to calm my mother down and somewhat diffuse the situation and ask us to leave. She said she will try to reason with her. I've tried to call my mother the next day, but she's blocked me and everything. My brother and I agree she needs therapy, but she's not willing to listen or talk to us. As for Jane, I am furious at her and wanted to find her. I asked my friends to help and told them what happened. They are idiots, but they apologized to me and stepped up and supported me these past few days. I tried contacting different people through friends and their mutual friends, until one of them put me in contact with Claire, who was one of Jane's bridesmaids at our wedding. I told her what happened and she was shocked at learning about it. According to Claire, Jane is back in the country of her partner, and a couple of days ago, Jane called her and a few others asking for money, as she and her partner are going through some financial issues. Claire says she doesn't know if Jane and her partner are separated. Jane had never told her anything of that sort. She said when she talked with Jane, she only said they were struggling. I told Claire what Jane did, and that Jane is insisting that her son is mine. Claire said that Jane told her that a kid is her current partner's 2 years back. Then she said she needs to talk to Jane and her partner to see what's going on. Claire kept saying she truly does not know what's going on, but she's going to ask around. That was 6 days ago, and I tried to call Claire, but she won't answer me now. I'm not going to pursue this anymore. I have my answers. So that's the update. Not the conclusion I wanted, but I don't care anymore. My mother still hasn't talked to me or my brother as of right now. I asked my aunt to let my mother know that if she refuses to talk to us or get help, then me and my brother will go permanently no contact as well. Family still says I'm in the wrong, as it's my fault for not being married or have kids. I told them to get lost and never contact me. My brother and I only tolerated them for my mother anyway. I now firmly believe that the baby is not mine. Your mom is an idiot, and it's her fault she was scammed. She's also a terrible person to you and your brother. Why are you letting her in your life? It's obvious the baby isn't his. Should have done a DNA test if it was. She probably has one that shows her partner's dad. I don't know why you'd even consider ever speaking to your mother again, and she deserves to have lost all that money doing all that crap behind your back. She needs an inpatient stay, or you'll end up bailing her out of jail. I can't believe she hit you. Exactly. Jane is just interested in money. If you had remarried and had a kid, your mother would have never fell for Jane's trap. That's what your family's trying to say, and that's just messed up in so many ways. Sorry you had to go through this. Jane was only here for the money or trying to drop the kid somewhere. That's the fact. I'd say you dodged a bullet there. Sounds like Jane would have been a nightmare to attempt a co-parenting relationship with. It's too bad your mom doesn't see that. I hope she finds help and realizes she now has no grandchildren and has lost 2 sons. And good on your brother for having your back. It's not that she doesn't see, she doesn't care. She doesn't care how much pain she puts her children through, as long as she gets a grandchild to use as a pet. This isn't fair. All her friends have a pet grandchild. Those ungrateful sons. Your mom and Jane both sound crazy town banana pants. Good riddance to both of them. Exactly. If my mother assaulted me like this, I would not be calling her. Last story. Am I the a-hole for being upset after a wife went on a trip with a male coworker? My wife and I have been married for 6 years and relatively happy all things considered. I work in sales and I'm on the road a lot. She works as a teacher's assistant at an elementary school. The teacher she works for is male. A couple months ago, my wife, the teacher she works with, and 2 workers bought tickets for a concert out of town at the beach. The plan was for them to stay overnight and come home the next morning. I had to travel for work, otherwise I likely would have joined. The day of the trip, 2 of her coworkers, females, come down sick and can't go. On a short notice, no refunds were available for the hotel or the concert tickets. It felt off for my wife to go alone with her male coworker, but long story short, they ended up going. Multiple rooms were booked, so I felt somewhat okay and trusted her. I was less comfortable with a male coworker. He's basically her boss, as she's the teacher assistant in his classroom. Nothing specific, other than I've caught him staring a little too long at my wife's chest a few times. She has 36 double Ds, so guys do stare, I suppose. Also, he competes in CrossFit on his side and is in tremendous shape. At times he seems too friendly, borderline flirty with my wife. So the night of the concert, I'm alone in a hotel room on the road, and my thoughts get the better of me. I turned on the Find My Phone and noticed that my wife's phone is not at a concert venue, but rather at the hotel. I checked sporadically throughout the evening, and her phone never moved, when she should have been at a concert. She also never returned my call/text that night. I finally heard from her the next day at lunchtime, when she texted to say she was heading home. She was originally planning to go back home first thing in the morning, but she said they decided to go spend some time on the beach. I had been checking her phone again that morning, and again, it never left the hotel. When I got home that evening, I confronted her about the phone location. She exploded in anger and asked why I was spying on her. In the end, she said she forgot it at the hotel when they went to the concert and left it in the room the next morning because she didn't want to lose it/drop it at the beach. The whole thing felt off. Am I the a-hole or am I justified in being suspicious here? Now for the top comments. Once, I can see. Twice in a row is iffy. Not the a-hole. She's married and should not be putting herself in compromising situations. The co-workers probably were never even going in the first place. And it's unlikely that your wife and her boss got separate rooms. He's staring at your wife's in front of you. Exactly. I'm a married dude. I've got a few close female friends. I would never put myself in a situation like this. At best, she's lying to you. You know your wife. You know the truth. Don't wait to prove what you know. Not the a-hole. Most concert tickets are digital nowadays. Were hers not? The idea of her being in a new town with a coworker and not having her phone on her is at best irresponsible. Did she pack the right things to go to the beach? If it was a last-minute plan, she would have been ill-prepared for a beach day. Too many coincidences here. I had no idea what she packed, since I was out of town myself. Doing laundry the next week, I noticed a lazy red thong I never remembered seeing before, but didn't say anything. Easily could just be something I never noticed before, so I didn't bring it up. Yeah, sorry, I think you have a problem here. Do you believe in coincidences? She just so happens to be on a trip along with another man. She just so happens to forget her phone in her hotel room. And now you find this red thong? You are being cold, my guy. Can you check the truth about the other two being sick and not being able to go? Also, can you confirm how many rooms were booked? And lastly, can you confirm the purchase of the tickets and if they were electronic? It sounds like she hasn't been truthful. Fine, the point is, why didn't she contact you when she got back to her phone, either after the concert or in the morning? So, hotel with a guy, doesn't answer her phone location doesn't move, and a red thong. She's for the streets. Not the a-hole. I'd be suspicious too. Unfortunately, you played your hand too soon. So if she's having an affair, she's going to be extra vigilant now. I think the best move here is to keep a mental note of everything and sweep it under the rug. As in, pretend you forgot about it or whatever. This may embolden her to do something dumb like what you just did. But she has given you a reason to doubt her. The thong is also very sus. I really hope she's not having an affair, and that this is a giant misunderstanding. No matter what happens, you gotta look out and take care of yourself. Don't forget that. Appreciate your comment. Thank you. Her exploding at you is not a good sign. Methinks she doth protest too much, and all that. Update. My ex-husband who cheated on me with my sister emailed me after 6 years. Original post. I, 33 female, met my ex-husband Dan, 40 male, almost 15 years ago at a restaurant when I was celebrating my 18th birthday. He was really nice, charming, and mature. He made me feel loved and special. For some context, I grew up in a dysfunctional family. My mom and dad used to always fight, and my dad would sometimes go out and not come back for months. Then he died when my sister Abby, 25 female, was born. My mom was way too fond of Abby since her birth rather than me. Abby was basically babied by my mother. She didn't neglect me at all, always did her best as a mother and provided for me, but I always felt something was missing. After Dan came to my life, I didn't feel like there was something missing from me anymore. He supported me, he was caring. He would always buy me gifts and take me out in long drives. I felt complete when I was with him. We got married after dating for 4 years. I wanted to start a family right away, but Dan encouraged me to do my master's and helped me build my career. He wanted us to be in a stable position financially before we start thinking about having kids. Seriously, he was the best guy I could ever ask for. But after 5 years of being happily married, I discovered that my husband was cheating on me with Abby. I discovered the affair when my husband made an excuse that he will go out of town for a week, but he stayed in town and booked a hotel room where he and Abby fool around. This has been going on for 6 months behind my back. I was really devastated. Abby and I were close growing up. I loved her and cared for her. How could you do this to me? After the D-Day, Dan and I had a fight. I asked how he could do this to me. And with my sister too, who just turned 19. He said he didn't love me anymore, that I don't give him enough attention, that I am not the same girl he fell in love with. Between this mess, I discovered that I was pregnant, but due to the stress, I lost the baby. He didn't even care enough to visit me at a hospital when I lost our child. He was having a weekend getaway with my sister. I should have seen the signs. Abby would always be touchy with Dan. Dan would sometimes stare at her, but it is still very disturbing for me. My mother, as usual, took Abby's side and told me to just make peace with it. I wanted to end myself then because I had no one left. Lost my child and my husband, my whole family. Then my best friend Tina, my savior, came to my rescue. She was moving to another state and asked me to come with her. I said yes. I was already divorced at that point, and we live in a small town, so I would obviously run into my ex and my sister. It took me a while to settle into my new life in a different state, but I met some kind people there. It helped me heal some trauma, though I still have trust issues. Then I met my now husband, Tony, 32 male, after 1 year of moving to the new place. I was really hesitant and kept my guard up, but he showed me that he is trustworthy and loves me a lot. I was so happy with him that I almost forgot about the life I had back in my hometown, that his parents were really welcoming and generous people. We got married a year ago and I am now pregnant with our first child. Yesterday, I got an email from my ex Dan. It just brought back all the bad memories. I am just paraphrasing his email here. He mentioned that he misses me. He tried to find me but couldn't. He is very miserable with my sister. She is very dumb and doesn't care about him like I do. I used to bake him a cake and throw birthdays for him, but Abby only texted him happy birthday and didn't even bother to buy him a cake. Plus, she is very rude, doesn't respect him, and she is always at the bar with her friends. He also mentioned that she has cheated on him 5 times already. The last affair was with his own cousin. Our mother also doesn't stop her. He will soon file for a divorce, but lately he has been missing me a lot. He wants us to try again as a couple. He wants us to become a family just like before. Since I do not have social media except for Instagram, which is private, he probably doesn't know that I am married and I have a baby on the way. I don't know if I should feel pity for him or just laugh because the grass on his side is very brown rather than green. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. He is very miserable with my sister. Good. He's living the life he deserves. He wants us to become a family just like before. Well, he slept with your family last time you were a couple, so I don't think it's a word he should be throwing around lightly. The audacity of this man. Have a huge laugh at his expense. His woe is me tale deserves zero pity. Be happy that your life isn't intertwined with these absolute garbage people. Don't respond. Let him marinate in his misery. Yes, Opie has so much to be happy about right now. As much as I would like you to be petty, ignoring him would be the best option here. Lol, right. I would have sent him a picture of my wedding ring hand on my prego belly, and then block him. Right? And tell him to enjoy the consequences of his own selfish actions. Lol. But nah, why waste a nothing moment on that piece of garbage? Hug your husband, take yourselves out to a nice dinner, and plan for your amazing future. And now for the updates. I just wanted to say thanks to all of you who messaged and showed me support. I have decided to send him an email and be done with it. It goes like, Dan, I am sorry to hear that you are suffering, but there was no way I would be with you. Yes, there was a time when I used to be that girl who would have taken you in a heartbeat, but that girl is not there anymore. That girl has died the day I had a miscarriage, and you are somewhere shacking up with my sister. I called you, but you never picked it up. I am now married to a wonderful man who loves me and cherishes me. I am also pregnant with our first child and beginning this new chapter of my life with someone I love and care deeply. So please, do not contact me ever again. You made your choice, and you chose my barely legal sister over me. I do not care if she cheats on you or she doesn't respect you. Someone like you don't deserve loyalty and respect anyways. I have left my old life in my old town. It will be best for you to move on and have some self-reflection on yourself. You are just a deeply insecure man who is getting old and thought having a young woman would be good by your side. Goodbye. Update to 3rd of March. A lot of you have been asking me what he replied. Well, he replied within an hour of me emailing him. He said that he was stupid enough to believe that I would still wait for him. And he said he would always wait for me because no matter what, I will always be his baby doll. I cringed hard. He used to call me that, but now it feels repulsive. I also got an email from my mom and my sister. My mom just congratulated me and was excited that she's going to be a grandmother. And my sister also did the same and said she will be the cool aunt. I cannot believe these people. They forgot how they treated me when I needed them, and moreover betrayed me. I cried for a long time because I have been reading your comments. And it seems like me and my sister was groomed by that man. I feel so stupid. I know I shouldn't be mad at my sister, but she was old enough to know it's bad to have an affair with a married man. That was also someone who is your sister's husband. I blocked all of them. I am 5 months pregnant already. I don't need more stress. God bless my husband. He comforted me when I cried and later took me out for ice cream. I hope I can move past this. Now for the last and full update. I'm cooled down now. I think I can make a more elaborate update. Thanks to everyone who has shown me support. I needed it. The email from him, my ex, just struck me like a train. I had flashbacks of everything he has done to me, and I think you guys deserve a detailed update. After I sent him the reply mail, he emailed me within an hour with the thing I said in my second update. A few hours later, I get 2 other emails from my mom and sister. They sent me in my old email address that I hardly use now. I don't know how they knew about my pregnancy. I try to keep a low profile, and I still haven't posted my baby bump pics on social media yet or made any announcements. I only have Instagram to follow my friends, but it just scared me and I broke down crying on the spot. Luckily, my husband Tony was around, held me and put me on a couch. He knows everything about me as I never hide anything from him. I was a little bit scared that my mom and sister would find me, but he reassured me that I am hundreds of miles away from them. I mean, we are on the opposite part of our country. He took me out for ice cream to comfort me. It took 2 ice cream cones to finally calm me down. Lol. I told him about my concerns and that my mom and sister might demand to see my baby girl. He told me he would talk to his uncle, who is a police officer, to be on lookout for them. Even if they come here and force themselves on us, he would fight against it. He is going to consult his lawyer friend about his matter too, then told me not to worry about my ex. He cannot harm me anymore. My husband even made a joke that he would move countries if we have to. Lastly, someone in my post commented that I should alert the daycare about my mom and sister in case they try to steal my baby. Well, we aren't planning to put her in daycare. Even though I'm currently working, I decided I would quit my job and look after my baby and focus on healing from giving birth. I do have a good amount of savings in my personal bank, and this is my own decision. I will go back to work when our little princess is a little bit older. My in-laws are amazing. My mother-in-law and father-in-law lives nearby. They're both good people and offered to help with the child. Also, don't worry. Apart from my in-laws, I have a good support system too. Tina and her wife Jenny basically adopted me. Lol. They are really good people and always helped me. I don't know what will happen in the future, but at least I am surrounded by some good people that I never had growing up. Now, I will take my leave and enjoy my husband pampering me. If something big happens, I will keep you guys updated. And my ex, sister, and mother are all blocked. I'm confused how she doesn't know how her mom and sister know about her pregnancy. The ex told them. Yeah, that doesn't really seem like a big mystery to me either. I'm not sure why she hasn't connected those dots. I think it was a setup to get all this info and more out of Opie. He made himself sound as pathetic as he possibly could to elicit an answer, and when he got it, he ran it straight up the wire to the gruesome twosome. People don't do that to people they dislike. Opie got played. Only way to win with no contact is to maintain no contact. It seems like the ex-husband doesn't perceive the young women he preys on as real people, but as props for his life. He was happy to discard Opie when she was having a medical emergency, but when his new toy didn't give him the same attention and enjoyment, he wanted the other one back again, with no thought for where she may be now in her life journey, or how she may have moved on from their toxic marriage. He's a typical narcissist who sees everyone else around him as an NPC. Main character syndrome is real. Abby once again proving true the adage of they'll cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. Happy that Opie got out of there and has a real family around her to take care of her. It makes me happy to know that Abby cheats on Dan pretty consistently and probably with men her age. I'm sure he's feeling pretty old and dumpy at 40, and his hot young thing is running around town with a bunch of college-age guys. Lol. I hope it makes him feel emasculated each and every time. Last story. The children I babysit has a father that makes me feel so unsafe. I, female 17, have been babysitting for this family for a while now, as they are two young parents working full-time, with two young children aged 1 and 3. I previously mentioned that I would be happy to assist with other tasks as well, such as grocery shopping and other things. But for the time being, all I've been asked to do is watch the kids. The kids' mother, as well as the kids, were leaving the country for a month, so the dad called me a few weeks ago to ask if I could help with cleaning the house since he was the only one home at the moment. He offered to pick me up the same day to simply look around the house and create a schedule, and I didn't give it much thought. Since I always did that when I was going to babysit, it wasn't unusual when he picked me up in his car. He instructed me in the car to keep the mother in the dark about this as his first instruction while telling me that I was very beautiful. Even though I agreed that it was a little strange, I kept my mouth shut. He stood me in front of the mirror as soon as we got home to check to see if I was taller than him. I felt uncomfortable as he held me around my waist to measure me. He showed me to mess around the house, and then we somehow got on the subject of my upcoming party, which led to him taking out his wife's previous wedding dress and then asked me to put it on and to borrow it to the party. I declined and pretended that we were pressed for time. He offered to drive me to school later and said we could eat something small first. He gave me a Snicker and we sat down. I got a little bit of chocolate on my lips, and he forcefully touched my lips to take it off. We got out to the car and he once again reminded me to not say anything to his wife. He held my hand whilst his Tesla was on autopilot mode, told me to stop talking to other men while he was holding my hand. I was so startled by this that I mentioned that I had a boyfriend, which is true. He said something along the lines of, well, I guess that is okay, just don't ask him for money. I can always fix that, and don't work for another family as we need you here. I didn't respond to his comment much because I was so horrified. He continued to hold my hand, placing his hand beneath mine and holding it as if he were going to kiss it. Another strange thing was that he repeatedly asked me when I would turn 18. He said we could go out to eat sometime because he was so alone now, with the kids and wife being gone before he dropped me off. I don't know. It freaked me out. Please give me any advice. Should I stop working for the family and never meet him again? Edit. I would also like to mention that after he told me to not tell his wife, he said that his wife would block him and get super angry if I was even there. I think they talked about me before, and I assumed that she said that she didn't want me to be there alone with him. I also texted my boyfriend while I was still in the car with him. Not even 10 minutes had gone by and I already had a list of 7 red flags. Now for the top advice. Tell your parents, and then talk to the wife with your parents there for safety. Never keep this kind of thing a secret. Tell her you can never work for her or her family again, and then block their number. You do not need a job that much to put yourself in a dangerous situation. And he even tried to offer money and be your sugar daddy? So gross. Stay safe. Don't ever go back there. Thank you. I talked to my parents as soon as this happened, and they also advised me to not go back and work for them. I'm a little sad since I really loved kids, and the wife is very sweet as well. But I think it's for the best since even worse things can happen if I hang out with them alone again. I'm glad you told your parents and that they have your back. Dude is a creep, and who knows what he was planning to do if you continue to work for him. He was definitely testing the waters and would probably demand an intimate relationship of some kind. I feel sad for his wife. I've taught my daughter that if someone says not to tell us something, it is not like a Christmas gift from our moms. We need to know right now. We haven't gone too far into the nitty-gritty due to her age, but I've told her more than once that people who want to keep secrets from her parents are dangerous. I said that while she doesn't have to tell me what she talks to her therapist about, and I mean that and don't push it, she does need to tell me if something feels wrong or unsafe because it's my job to ensure she's safe. So far, she actually has. It also tells me ahead of time when she feels she's done wrong because she needs help. The only way that worked any further was by honoring her safety and well-being before addressing breaking a rule. But it's important. She has to feel safe with me as her mom, or I can't help her out of danger.